Hey guys, welcome back. How you doing? It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. So the finally time has come for me to do an official review of LG OLED C7P 55-inch 2017 series lineup. This is 55-inch. There is a 65-inch option as well, but it will cost you a little bit more. Besides the size and the cosmetics design, there's really no difference whatsoever on the 2017 versions. They're all exactly the same, whether you get the LG wallpaper, whether you get B7, E7, C7, they're all going to have exactly the same panel and exactly the same technology and features built inside. This is not something that's coming from me. This is something that I went directly to the CES 2017 Vegas videos where they had LG president, CEO president of the LG talk about this, and he confirmed that all of the 2017 OLED TVs are exactly the same, except the size and cosmetic design, and that's the only difference. And some other extra features, like some of them come with a sound bar, that Dolby Atmos sound bar. But other than that, all of them have the same exact feature, which I'm going to talk about in the next 30 minutes. The reason this video is going to be 30 minutes is because that's the only way I can cover a lot of these features that are built inside this TV. And this TV really does look gorgeous. It's the one thing you watching this on the video camera through video, and it's another thing you coming in, walking into a store and watching it, seeing it for the first time, and then even better, buying it and bringing it to your home, and you see a drastic difference. Alright, so what you're seeing here right now, it's a app called the OLED Gallery slideshow, where they have different demos. You can go through the gallery, you can choose. I use the art gallery. This is something that's really good to show off your TV, and something like if you have a hard time sleeping, it's also pretty cool to listen to this with a nice little music. They have a sunny day as well, rainy day. These are all dynamic themes that you can choose to leave it on your TV, so if you have a hard time sleeping, this really comes in handy. Alright, so let's get to the nitty and gritty of this TV. Let's talk about the panel. Well, one of the unique things about this panel is the fact that now you're getting a little bit higher contrast picture peak brightness. And people need to distinguish the difference between the contrast and the peak brightness that's being measured. The way they measure the peak brightness, it's based on the OLED, organic light emitting diodes. How much of light are they emitting? They do have the equipment where they measure that. These are professionals. The one I would recommend is Vincent from UK. He has a channel called HD TV Tests. Even though he's sponsored, but he's honest, even though he's sponsored, he does give you his thoughts and honest opinion on the TV. And also got to keep in mind he's a professional calibrator, so I definitely highly recommend you go check him out. Me, the difference with me is I'm just a regular Joe or regular Steve or whatever guy that buys it with his own money and then checks that out for himself and then tells you if everything you heard, everything you've seen from all these professionals, if in fact it's true. And that's why I'm doing this video, to confirm whether or not it's true or not. You gotta always have a second opinion, and that's what I am. Think of me as a second opinion to confirm all of that. Alright, so let's talk about the picture quality and the peak brightness of this version of OLEDs, even though there's B6, there's C6 that has a 3D. All of those I had in the past. I tried them out, and I can tell you from having all three different versions of OLED TVs, unlike some other people who haven't even tried all of them. I have tried many different versions of OLED TVs from 2015, 2016, and now 2017. And I can tell you that this one, it's a top-notch improvement over the previous ones. Peak brightness is the first thing that you're going to notice when you buy, let's say you have a B6 or C6 and you switch to C7. The first thing you're going to notice is the peak brightness. It's much higher on this TV. And here, I can do that demonstration right now just to show you how much of a peak brightness you're getting here, even though this is Dolby Vision. But here, let me go ahead, go through my settings, and let me move my OLED light just to show you how bright this is going to be. I'm going to move my OLED light all the way to the maximum. And I'm going to turn my contrast to the 100. So the contrast and OLED light are all to the maximum. And I'm also going to turn off the light so you can see just how much of a peak brightness there is. This is with the light being turned off. Here, let me show it to you from this angle. Let me get a little bit closer. Now, when they're talking about peak brightness, they're talking about the peak brightness that's being emitting from the organic light diodes. Just look how much detail you will see. You can see the dirt on her wrist. You see that? You see that dirt right there? Maybe she was tied up or something, so that left a mark. But I'm just showing you the detail that you can see. That's because of that little bit higher peak brightness. I think they measured it's about 720, I think. A little bit higher than the previous model. The previous model was 600, but this one is like 700. And definitely it's much better improvement for an OLED. So this is the perfect amount of, I would say, for the OLED of peak brightness. Okay. Now let's go ahead, turn the lights on. I can show you one more scene if this is not enough. Let me show you one more scene. All right, now this one might be a little bit too hard to watch, but because it's of blood. However, but that just shows you the amount of detail that you're going to be seeing on this new C7 OLED TV. And that's because with a higher peak brightness and the perfect deep dark levels that OLED already has, that's how you get that dynamic, beautiful picture quality on top of the Dolby Vision. That helps, obviously. But even without Dolby Vision, you're still going to enjoy that peak brightness from this TV. All right, let's move to another one. Okay, so I turned on the lights, and it's really hard for me to show you the peak brightness through a camera. You'll just have to trust me. This is coming from somebody who, as you already know, for those of you who subscribe to me, I had B6, C6, although I do miss 3D, and now C7. So I already tried 3 different OLEDs, and I can tell you, by trying different years, 2016 and 2017, from somebody who already experienced 2 models from 2016, going into the 2017 model version, I can tell you that the peak brightness is higher, and you can clearly see it. All right, so let's talk about the other features besides the peak brightness and deep dark levels. I'm not going to talk too much about the deep dark levels because this is an OLED TV, and OLED TVs have perfect deep dark levels. The only thing that the OLED was lacking was the peak brightness, and that's the highest improvement on this TV. Now let's move on to another feature that is very unique about this TV. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about while we're watching this is different HDR formats that this TV supports. This is the only TV right now on the market from LG that it's supporting all of the above HDR formats. And I'm talking about obviously HDR10, Dolby Vision, Hybrid Log Gamma, HLG, and from Technicolor, Advanced HDR. So that's total of 4 HDR formats you're gonna be enjoying. I'm starting to sound like a Solid Snake. Colonel, that's about 4 HDR formats we're going to be enjoying. All right, so you got 4. That's total of all of the above. That's all they have right now at the moment. I don't see anything else coming out on the horizon except those 4. HDR10, Dolby Vision, Hybrid Log Gamma, HLG, and of course by Technicolor, Advanced HDR. So right there with this TV, with this version, you're future-proof with the value with all these different HDR formats. So that way, whatever they release, whichever different HDR format they release, your TV will support it. That way you don't have to worry about it. Oh my God, does mine support it or not? Yours will support that. And that's the key difference that I want to acknowledge here. That's very important that you guys understand that this is the only TV. The 7 series from LG are the only brand that are supporting HDR formats. That's what I meant by this TV. I mean the 7 series TV. No matter which 7 series you get, LG wallpaper, B7, C7, E7, doesn't matter, whichever one you get, all the 2017 models will support all of the HDR formats. So right there, you are set for the future. Okay, it's gonna last you at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years, which is a pretty good value for what you're paying, okay? Instead of every year changing a damn TV, all right? So you have to think about that. Think about that value. Okay, when I talk about the price and value, you need to think about what you're getting for what you're paying. And if all of the HDR formats weren't enough, guess what? This LG TV also gives you a Dolby Atmos built-in processor. So this TV already has a Dolby Atmos built-in processor. It does have, I believe, 4 speakers in the back. They're 40 watts each. They do process the Dolby Atmos experience, but I recommend you get 676 receiver and listen to it with separate, discrete rear height speakers so you can get that full, well, not full Atmos, but near basic Atmos experience. To get a full Atmos experience, obviously, you will need 11.2 channels, which I believe my friend TechnoDad, he has that. So that's 11.2 channels. That's ridiculous. But that's if you want to get the full Atmos experience. So right out of the gate with this TV, you're getting all of the HDR formats. You are getting Dolby Atmos built into it, along with Dolby Vision, HDR10, Hybrid Log Gamma, HLG, Technicolor, Advanced HDR. That's out of the gate with this TV. On top of a higher peak brightness than from the previous last year models. So right there, you're getting a huge upgrade of value that would make you consider to upgrade from B6 and all of the 6 series into the 2017 series. Now, the one thing that this TV it's lacking, obviously, it's a 3D. If they had implemented 3D into this TV, that would be like icing on the cake. That would be like, what is there to debate? Just go buy it. So let's go rehash this really quick. I know it's 15 minutes. I want to do this as professional as possible. Okay, what's the difference? Well, besides the cosmetic design, the panel looks much better. Obviously, has a higher peak brightness. There's more colors on the color gamut. There's things like 7 billion. There's a higher color ratio on this TV as well. You can look this up. So on top of that, you're getting all of the HDR formats. They have this metadata built into this TV that is able to compress any incoming signal from any different types of high dynamic range formats, and it's able to compress that and put it out into the TV. So right there, you're getting all of the HDR formats, peak brightness, pure deep dark levels, which make this TV look fantastic. Now let's move on to another thing that everyone's been asking me. This is the question that I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know. Are there any image retention? Now, for those of you who don't know what the image retention is, it's equivalent to that of burn-in screen. Like the best example would be in the plasma screens that had that higher burn-in retention because they were using different types of emitting light that was using more power and it was burning more light into it, and therefore retention was much higher. What the retention basically means is if I was to leave a certain menu, display menu of certain options and logos, those logos and option menus, if I left them for about, let's say, 6 hours and I didn't turn off my TV and I switched to another video feed, that retention that was already there on my previous screen would show up on the next screen that I'm watching, and it would stay there. So I don't want to spend too much time explaining what the retention image is, and you guys can look it up. It's a burn-in on the screen, which means if I do this, for example, and I leave this on for about 6 hours, and this OLED gallery stays, and all of these squares here stay, and this letters here, they're being written, stay for 6 hours, and then I switch to another feed, they would show up on the screen as ghosting. They would show up as a burn-in image, which means they would stay there. I just want to say this. I personally haven't experienced that. And I had this TV now for, I would say, 2 weeks? Something like that. Close to 2 weeks. Yeah, roughly 2 weeks. And I have tested this TV to its full potential. I left it sometimes all night long with some sleeping hypnotic methods like rain and thunder, and there would be certain images flying by because sometimes I have a hard time sleeping at night. So I would leave that on, and I would wake up the next day after 8.5 hours, and there would be no screen burn in on the TV whatsoever. And you can trust me when I tell you this. This is coming from an independent guy. I don't work for LG. I'm just a regular dude that enjoys the tech, loves the tech. I'm not trying to convince you that I'm some professional or something like that. I'm not. I'm just your regular guy, just like you, regular dude. I do have my other professions that I'm good at, but this is like a hobby to me, and this is coming from a guy that bought this with his own hard-earned cash, and it's telling you in its experience, honesty experience, what I have experienced with this TV. And there's no burn-in screen on this TV. It doesn't ever happen for 2 weeks now that I had it, and I've been abusing this TV, literally testing it. Nothing. So rest assured, the image retention, burn-in, it's non-existent on this TV. It might be existent on the early versions, the B6, maybe even C6, which I haven't experienced either, but it could be possible on those TVs. But on this one, on the 7 series, there are none that I have experienced. Now let's talk about this Magic controller, which I really like. All of these controllers are pretty much identical from previous version and this version because they didn't really have to change much because everyone likes this controller. It's very unique remote controller. So that's another thing to think about, that you're also getting a very unique remote controller. Something similar to the V mode. A lot of people compare it to V mode. You can definitely compare it to that, but the difference is this is much smoother, much more responsive. And you don't have to use this. You can turn this off if you like. You can turn it off. You can use your directional buttons right here, left and right, and you can move it around. Here, just to show you how many features and apps this LG OS user interface has. Obviously, there's a live TV via antenna. You can plug in your antenna. You can watch that. Has a Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Vudu, Channel Plus, different types of service. Google TV, Movies Play, has a Google Play movies on there. So whatever you have on your Google Chromecast, you can watch in here as well. You got a YouTube. One thing I want to make sure, this is not a Chromecast built-in TV. That's Sony A1E. This is a OS from LG operating service. It has total of 4 HDMI inputs. They're out in the back, and one ARC return HDMI as well. They do have a search option here where you can go click on the search and you can hold this button right here, and then you can say something if you want. Let's say, for example, let's say Keanu Reeves. All right, let me hold this. Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves. John Wick. All right, so one unique feature I want to show you is the WebOS browser. This is a very great browser for a TV. So right out of the gate with this TV, you're getting this WebOS browser, and it's very unique. You can just go click on it right here, go back to it, and you can use your remote, your Magic remote, and you can scroll down. It's very fast. You can click on something if you want to watch something. You click on it. I don't want to click on any of these videos because I don't want to get flagged. But it's very unique, very easy. You can go back to what you were watching previously. There's different tabs here you can click on. And if I click on ESPN, it's going to be there pretty quickly. It also depends on your internet connection, obviously. You know, the better internet connection, then you're going to have much better experience watching this. But let's say you're browsing something, you're looking at the scores, and then you want to go back to something you were watching on the YouTube, right? You were watching some sort of a video or a podcast or something. No problem. You just go click right here, recent. It's going to take you back to this little menu of apps, and you click on the recent, and you click on it, and you go back to the YouTube. So you continue where you left off. And all of this stuff, it's very smooth and fast. So when you changing between all of this stuff, it's very smooth, very fast. So the web browser, it's really good and responsive. And this WebOS, this user interface from LG, it's really fast because it has a quad-core processor. So this thing, it's punching a very good processing power to do all of this. So keep that in mind. The reason I'm going through all of these stuff they have in this TV, it's because I want you to see the value of what you're paying. The reason you're paying $2,500, this is the reason why you're paying $2,500. You pay people, you get what you pay for. This is why I defend the Xbox One X, because for $500 you're getting a great value. Okay, now I'm not a fanboy. I have PlayStation, I have Xbox, I have PC, I have Nintendo Wii U, but for the value, I am not disagreeing with the price. And I don't think anyone is disagreeing with the price unless you're a fanboy, obviously, and you're defending your brand. However, the reason I'm doing this video of this TV is to show you the value that you are getting with this TV, besides just the picture quality and all the HDR formats and Dolby Atmos and the HDMI inputs and outputs. This is another accolades of features you're getting. Responsiveness, very easy to use, remote control. So you're getting a lot of stuff here, a lot of value for the money. They do have an LG store. You can click on the LG store over here. I might have to put on a mute because they do have some trailer running on it. Let's go to the LG store. I'll go back to it really quick right here. There's a LG content. This is where you can find a bunch of apps. They have like a bunch of apps here you can check out and see. You can download. You can go to the apps right up here on the top. LG content store, you click on it. You can click on the apps and games, and you're going to show a bunch of different apps and games right here. They have a Sling TV, so right here you can watch a Sling TV along with the Netflix and Amazon Prime. So right here you don't even need a cable. You can just have your internet and you're good to go. They even have Sirius XM. They even have GameFly streaming. They have a bunch of stuff. And these are the apps they have available on the store right now. And I'm just trying to go through everything that I just covered. So let's go briefly with what I have covered. I have covered the most important thing, which is the difference is clear. You're getting a higher peak brightness, pure deep dark levels, much better color, all of the above HDR formats, total of 4 right now, which I already acknowledged. HLG, Advanced HDR, Dolby Vision, and HDR10. HLG Hybrid Log Gamma, and Advanced HDR by Technicolor. All of these are coming in the future. So I covered that. I also covered the fact that there is no image retention. There's no burn-in on this screen. Rest assured, you'll never have to worry about that. And I also covered the fact that it has a Dolby Atmos processing built into it. Even if you don't have speakers, the Dolby Atmos processing that's already built into those 4 speakers behind at the bottom of this TV will give you that up-firing, I don't want to say it fake, but it'll give you that stimulation, that atmospheric stimulation. It really works, man. It really works if you're like in a small room, but if you're in a big room, I don't know how's that going to work. But if you're in a small room, you're still going to feel that stimulation of atmospheric Dolby Atmos. I prefer you have a receiver, obviously, preferably 676 Onkyo, or maybe if you can go out the distance, you can get the some high-end 12 channels, 11.2 channels, Dolby Atmos receivers. But right out the gate with this one, you're getting a Dolby Atmos experience and Dolby Vision experience. So I covered that. Let me see, what else have I missed. It has 4 HDMI inputs. has an ARC input, which is more than enough. The ARC input was going to give you that return to your receiver, and you're still going to have some extra 3 left to be available on your TV in the back. It has the SD memory card. It has a USB 3.0, which means you can play your local media on it, plug it in. So you're getting all of these features on top of the great quality, premium quality. Not to mention, as I just earlier said, the web browser runs smooth, runs really quick. The remote control is very responsive. It has a quad-core processor, which is all really, really fast. It has so many features into this TV, from the voice search mode. So I don't know what else I can say about this TV. I already spent 30 minutes giving you my thoughts and everything. And you guys can check out my videos that I did in the past 2 weeks to see my reaction, how the picture looks, how the Dolby Vision looks. I have shown you the Dolby Vision peak brightness. I had turned the peak brightness and contrast all the way up with Lucy movie. So I don't know what else is there for me to say. It has bunch of, and I do mean bunch of, apps and features. You can also share your photos and videos, music. It has a lot of features, which all of these features, honestly, if I was to go through every and each one of those features, this video would be 60 minutes to hour and a half. But I don't have time to go through all of these features to cover it. I'm just kind of letting you know here on this video that you're getting a great value with this TV. If this TV didn't have a great value, I would have told you, hey, I wouldn't even bother doing a review. I would just tell you, hey man, don't bother. They're asking too much. Now, I know what you guys want to say. You guys are going to say, well, what about the A1E? Here's the thing with the A1E. A1E, it's a good TV too. It's a good OLED TV. It does have that processing chip inside of Sony that helps a little bit. But it's still a LG OLED panel. It's made by LG. It's still an LG OLED panel. Okay? I don't care if it has a different processing in there. And the processor, the quad-core processor, it's very similar to this one that's built into it. And on top of that, you don't have Dolby Atmos. Although the A1E has specific kind of speakers built into it, which they do sound great, but you don't have Dolby Atmos processing built into it. And you don't have all of the HDR formats. So remember, with Sony A1E, you're spending over $2,000 more. And you're not even getting all of the HDR formats. So you're not future-proof. You're spending money on something that it's not future-proof because probably they're going to trick you. Sony's going to trick you next year when they release another OLED model that's going to support all of the HDR formats. And then you're going to be stuck with the A1E. It's like, oh my God, why did I buy A1E? So you have to think about the value, guys. Here you are spending less than that. You're spending $2,500, and if you wait till November, you might be able to get this TV for maybe $2,200. Okay, depending on how much they cut on the price. So in the closing of this video, as I just mentioned 20 seconds ago, you have to consider the difference in value and the money you spent. And I'm talking for whether you own a Sony A1E or last year LG models B6, E6. There's nothing wrong with these TVs. They're all great. They all have great picture quality. But you gotta ask yourself, how much did you spend on that TV? And now, is it worth that money? considering the features you're getting with this TV. Now, this TV already is future-proof because of all of the above HDR formats that it has. This TV will read any HDR format that comes along because of that metadata that has built into it by, guess who? Technicolor. All right, they do have a partnership with Technicolor. I did some research on that. On top of all the other features that it has, Dolby Atmos built into it. Really fast, smooth, responsive remote control and WebOS browser, higher peak brightness, better color gamut, pure deep dark levels. It's as if it wasn't good enough that you're getting an OLED TV, but you're getting a really high-end OLED TV here. You're getting a state-of-the-art OLED TV. Now, granted, there's 65-inch. I recommend go with the 65-inch or possibly LG wallpaper. If you're a high roller, you want to go all out with that. But for a C7, 2500, it's a justifiable price. It's a justifiable price because you're getting a lot of value. I like to use word value. I was going to use the word bang or this or that, you know. There's many different phrases. To me, or juice or dough, I would say value. Okay? There's a reason why you spend that 2500. You spend that 2500 to get a great value. And that's what the LG is offering you. It's a great value. With Panasonic's, Sony, you're not going to get that value because you're going to be missing a lot of features. Now, granted, this TV does miss 3D, and if it had 3D, maybe they'll bring it next year. Who knows? Now, if it had a 3D on it, that would be like the ultimate TV for me personally. But you know what? It's okay. I'm not really like that crazy for the 3D because I have my PlayStation VR. I can watch 3D on PlayStation VR, and honestly, PlayStation VR is the best way to view the 3D to begin with, 3D movies. So I'm not like really like hurt. Like it would have been nice if they did, but hey, you can't have it all. You know what I mean? But considering what this TV has, the future-proof of features that it has, for 2500, yes, it's justifiable. Easily justifiable than opposite of Sony A1E. You know what I mean? You have to look at the value, people. I was this close, like this close, getting the A1E, but then I stopped, did some more research, some more digging, and I realized, well, wait a minute. I'm missing half of the features here with the Sony A1E. And quite frankly, I'm not a huge fan of that Chromecast built into it. I'm sorry, it's just my own personal preference. Why couldn't Sony make their own user interface or something like that? Why couldn't they give even something creative like LG? LG, with their TVs being more creative, they're giving you more convenience. So it's been about almost 40 minutes now. In closing, this is a buy. If you can get it cheaper, or if you can wait till Thanksgiving and get it for like $2,200 or $2,000, oh yeah, you're definitely going to enjoy this TV with your Xbox One X. It's going to be a great companionship. Both your Xbox One X and your PlayStation 4 Pro, you're definitely going to enjoy this TV. And then if you have a really good 4K player like Oppo 203, oh, you're going to be in heaven. And then if you have a really good receiver with a Dolby Atmos DTS:X, oh man, you're in heaven already. So yes, this TV has great value. Definitely it's a buy, and I highly recommend, even for those of you who have 2016 models, even though there's nothing wrong with them. If you like your last year models, hey man, that's fine. Okay, you're still going to enjoy Dolby Vision and HDR10. However, you will not be able to enjoy hybrid log gamma HLG. You will not be able to enjoy Technicolor Advanced HDR. So you might have to think about upgrades in the future. All right, so the bottom line is this, guys. LG OLED TV. It's two thumbs up by Mr. 4K Upscaler. I have tried, as I said, B6, C6, and now this year, 2017 year 7 models series, and I can tell you they're definitely worth it. If you can buy it for cheaper price, go with it, but definitely I highly recommend this TV. You will not go wrong with this TV, man. You're gonna be a happy customer. And this is coming from another happy customer, a guy just like you that has a passion for tech, TVs as a hobby. I'm not sponsored. I have nobody typing in teleprompter for me to read. This is coming from me, my own personal experience, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you find it informative. If there's something I have missed, you please let me know. I think I covered the key important features that you want to know, and that's the way I edit this video to 40 minutes, to show you the important stuff, to cover the important stuff that you want to know. Hopefully I did a good job, and if I didn't, well, I did my best here. All right, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it.